Hey, I'm going to need an oxygen mask because you just took my breath away. Welcome back to Aviator Inspirations, where I take the mystery out of the aviation industry. So if you're new here, consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my future episodes. On this episode, I'm gonna talk about relationships in aviation. Whether you're thinking of dating or marrying a pilot, or you're a pilot and want to know what kind of family life you can expect. Here are the advantages, disadvantages, and challenges you're gonna face. We all enter aviation at different ages and from different walks of life, and it all depends at what point in your career you meet your significant other. But let's start at the beginning of a pilot's career. When pilots start out, their choices for jobs are limited, and the disadvantage is that you are going to have to move, and not somewhere nice and sunny, but northern and cold. Such a move can simply end a new relationship if your significant other is not willing to make the move. Or if you are married, it's a tough decision to make as a family. Can your significant other get a job? How will they make friends? What are you going to do in your spare time? Those are all hard psychological challenges to overcome. Or your other option is for a long distance relationship. The big advantage is that your pilot will be home every single night. You might be living in a northern, remote, rural town at -30, but at least you're together. Enjoy this time, trust me. Take the opportunity of this stage in your life to build a solid foundation in your relationship. You also build close friendships with other pilots and employees at the company. And if you're single, you could meet your significant other when you least expect it. I met my wife when I was a young, poor flight instructor in northeastern Alberta, and we've been together for over 7 years. So the start of your career should not be something you dread, but take it as an opportunity to make great friends, build relationships, and gain valuable flight experience. Once you get the next job at a larger charter company or in a corporate jet, you once again have to move, but the advantage is that you're moving towards civilization. You can start planning your wedding, buying a house, or starting a family. The disadvantage is that your pilot is going to start being away from home more. Depending on the company and the type of shift, it could be for a day or two or up to a week at a time. If you are still single at this point, the big advantage is that you are in a larger town and you have a higher chance of meeting your significant other. The disadvantage is that not many people understand this profession and the type of shift work that we have and the amount of days we spend away from home. The most successful relationships in aviation result when both partners have shift work because they each understand each other's lifestyle. In fact, a lot of pilots are married to nurses, doctors, or RCMP officers because not only do they meet in these smaller towns because they are also building their career experiences, but also because they understand the type of shift work we have. I'm not saying you can't marry somebody who has a 9-to-5 job, but it will be that much harder for them to understand why we don't have weekends or holidays off like they do. Now, if your goal is to fly for the airlines, get ready to move again. Well, you don't have to move, but we'll get to that later. Airlines have certain cities where they base their pilots, and it's your responsibility to move there if you accept the job. The initial pilot training is hard and intense, so your pilot is going to be very busy and focused for the first 3 months. Give them space. They are working very hard to succeed and need all your support and encouragement. Once the initial training is complete, you now have to adjust to your pilot being gone 16 to 18 days a month. That's right, some months you will not see your pilot for over 50% of the time. That's hard. This is where the strength of your relationship will be tested as you move into this next stage of your lives. It's especially hard for the pilots being away for so long, especially if you have kids, because kids change so quickly that you miss a lot of important moments. Fortunately though, with today's technology, your family is just a FaceTime away. If you choose not to live in the city that you're based, your pilot will have to commute to work on their days off. So keep that in mind when making this decision. Personally, I choose to commute because I live in my favorite city in Canada and we are close to family that can help out with the kids. The advantages of your pilot working for an airline is that the whole family gets flight benefits. You can travel extensively as a family, see the world, expose your children to different cultures, and not have to spend a fortune to do it. My daughter has been to 5 countries before her first birthday. Now, if you are still single at this point, the world is your oyster. You are free to travel anywhere you please. You can spend every days off in a different city, in a different country. You can travel the world if you wanted to. Nothing is holding you back. The disadvantage is that at this point in your career, you don't have much time to meet anyone. If you do, they won't understand why you are never home, and it's hard to build a relationship when you are never there. Some pilots therefore start dating flight attendants, and I know of several relationships that have made it work, but the majority of them fail because you are both gone for 16 days a month and you never see each other. Finally, with the pilot divorce rate at nearly 75%, here are my top 3 personal and professional tips to ensure you have a healthy, successful, and long relationship. 1. Establish amazing communication. With your pilot gone so much, you need to establish a system of how, when, and how often you communicate. With simple text messages throughout the day, you can both keep each other in the loop, or a phone call before or after flying if you want to hear their voice. Without solid communication, your relationship cannot stay healthy, so this should be your first priority. 2. Be flexible. An airline pilot has a different schedule every single month, so you have to be flexible to be able to adjust your life to theirs. I miss a lot of weekends, holidays, birthdays, and sometimes even Christmas and New Year's. Therefore, we try to celebrate occasions around my schedule, and if things don't work out, we don't get disappointed. 3. Learn to be independent. With your pilot gone, you have to be able to run the household, or have someone close by to help if something happens. If you have a clogged toilet or a flat tire, your pilot can't be immediately there to save the day. Some things can wait for their return, but most likely you're going to have to deal with it on your own. You also need to be independent psychologically. If you can't handle your pilot being gone for 3 to 4 days because you miss them so much, then your relationship is going to suffer. You need to be able to have your own goals, ambitions, and desires, and be able to function on your own. If you need a little boost or motivation, check out my video, A Pilot Story. So start working on these 3 tips today, and I wish you many years of love, laughter, and happiness. If you found this video helpful, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next episode.